Good. Well, thank you for. I hope the tool on the core process helped you. I hope it helped you be able to see how do you narrow down onto what to work on, what to execute, what to really roll out in your life. I wanted us to look at something we call the simplicity triangle. And this is something I'm learning to see how to use. And even as I'm sharing it with you here, I'm learning it. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to learn it, but I like it. I like the tool. And it talks about when you get a new idea, and if you can see in the tool, when you get a new idea and you get a light bulb moment of an idea, it is important if you are alone or you're with others to get into exploration phase of that and explore the idea. And when you're exploring the idea, at that point, every opinion is welcome. Every thinking is welcome. Everybody is free to say whatever they want to share because you're exploring the idea. The research is welcome. And as you see, they have complexity. So you need to get it to as complex as it can get. Meaning, welcome every idea that can be incorporated as it can get. Sometimes we always get an idea. We are quick to want to implement. You're very quick to rush into implementation. And when you do that, sometimes you probably ignore or you probably don't incorporate some of the best ideas that could have made this a beautiful, beautiful project or given it a beautiful, wonderful outcome. And so maybe you are in a team, you're working with some people, or maybe you have an idea. It's good to stretch it, to research it, to go there until you reach a level where you know, for real, I have looked at the possible, the variations, what could be done, whatever is possible. So you reach a point where you say, this is the maximum complexity we can achieve at this point. Of course, at some point you need to stop yourself from continuing to go through exploration because you can explore forever. You don't want again to get that because then unfortunately you might get into analysis paralysis. You don't want that. So, but there's a point where you sit down and say, I think I've explored this enough. Maybe it's your plan for work idea. So you explore it up to the point where it reaches maximum complexity. Now, most people get to maximum complexity and then leave it there. Leave it there. And then you have this complex idea, this difficult, this beautiful, but it's been complicated until you have no idea what you've been talking about. Everybody has chipped in, and the thing is all there. It's a pot full of confusion. And then some people get overwhelmed with that and you leave it there. And say like, yeah, that idea was good, really. It could be a good, it can change things. But when you leave it at there, you might have an idea that you can't implement. You need to get to the next phase of simplifying it. Simplifying it. And that just means breaking it down, making it something that is simple. A simple idea that you say, okay, we've complicated it. Let's see if we can break it down to something simple that we can implement tomorrow. And maybe you have an idea to do this big conference. And you've explored options, you've looked at it until you have this beautiful thing. You've written on the board. If you're the people who write on the boards, you've done all those imaginations and all. What you need to do is then take it to the next phase of simplifying it and say, okay, let's simplify it so that we can explain it to even a 13-year-old and they'll understand what we are trying to do. Because if you can't explain it to a 13-year-old, they say, then you've really not understood your idea at all. So break it down. Because it is after you've broken it down into a simple idea that you can easily implement it. But when you leave it as this high, complex. It might lie on the shelf forever because everybody is confused on what is their next step. Remember, we talked about their next natural step. And so when you're looking at simplifying it, you're saying, okay, we have this beautiful idea, but we need to look at our next natural step. And so what is the next natural step in this case? The next natural step in this case could be, let's start by making calls. Let's call 20 people. Let's hear what they think about this idea. This is a simple tool. And it's very powerful in it. It helps you not to ignore the possibilities that idea could bring, but also it helps you to be able to implement an idea so that you don't leave it hanging, you don't let it confusing, you don't leave it beautiful that nothing is done about it. So I want you to reflect on that and ask yourself, how can I explore, get to a point where even with myself, either myself or with my team, we know, I think we've explored this enough. Let's now start simplifying it. Some people, that's a challenge in simplifying it because you don't know how to simplify an idea. And maybe that's why you need someone to help you simplify that idea to make it something you can implement. So, this is a tool that I thought would also be helpful when you're walking through your journey, when you're walking through your process, when you're thinking through all those 10 categories. Explore, 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 but don't leave it up there. Simplify it and bring it down. That might take you time, and it's okay. So long as at the end of the day, you have an idea that you can implement, but also you have not just, there's sometimes just coming up and the idea is shoddily done and you're like, who thought about, they didn't even think about this, they didn't consider this, they didn't consider this, they didn't consider that, they didn't consider that because you were so quickly to implement something. It's important to look at the different levels of it, different angles of it, so that when you implement it, you have looked at all shades of it. And in that way, you are ready for whatever it is might happen in the course of your journey. I hope this makes sense, and I hope this helps you as you're thinking that about your plans for the year, for your life, for your growth, for your financial, for your work, for the people you're working with. Maybe this could even be an idea you can use for your working group. Explore the idea and then break it down to something you can implement. Well, thank you for this, and I pray that this adds value into your growth as a leader, and that this helps you be able to see how to be able to rise beyond the so many complex situations or shoddy ideas that have been implemented. Like, they didn't think about this, they didn't explore this enough, they didn't do good research about this. Give yourself time to do research. Give yourself time to explore that idea. Give yourself time to really look at the possibilities. Bring in everybody. Let everybody in your circle see that from their angle, and let them look at it and say, I think this will fail. And you ask them, why would it fail? It will fail because we are not considering the people who wake up at 4 a.m. Like, oh yeah, there are those who wake up at 4 a.m. who might need this idea. And then after that, then say, okay, this is a complex idea. This is a level of maximum complexity we can achieve. Let's now simplify it so that we can get what we can start with tomorrow, so that our idea don't overwhelm us, don't frustrate us, but our idea becomes something we can roll out tomorrow. Thank you very much for listening. And I pray that this helps you grow as you continue to lead yourself, to lead your teams, and to execute on your ideas and your projects. Thank you.